So, for today's video, we're going to be doing the cooling system on the car. Pretty much is a problem with cooling, I guess, typically on every E36 where the clutch-driven fan kind of explodes and takes out the radiator and everything with it, causing your car to overheat. So we're just going to address that. We're going to completely delete the clutch fan. That way you can't blow up if you're not there. I found a kit from FCP Euro that uses, I guess this is from the 4-cylinder E36 manual trans cars, where it's a lower temperature switch that goes in the radiator. And what that does is it lowers when it triggers the auxiliary fan to turn on. I guess the stock one is from 195 for low speed and 210 for high speed. And what this does is it lowers that temperature to 175 for low speed and 190 for high speed. So my auxiliary fan is going to be the only fan I have in the front. And so I'm just going to, just delete that clutch fan, have the auxiliary fan, have this low temperature switch that turns the fan on. And with that, we have a low temperature thermostat. So this is going to be, comparable with that. It's going to be the low temperature at 175 when it opens versus the stock one's only 195 when it opens. With everything that comes with the kit is a new water pump, the switch, thermostat, new metal thermostat housing, and the wrench to remove the fan. I think it was like $110 from FCP Euro, so it was well worth it. I'm gonna leave a link down in the description just so where it's at, what I got. And when I was there, I got new radiator hoses because I knew those needed to be replaced because I have no idea when those have been. They might be even the stock ones. Who really knows? In the junkyard, I found a new expansion tank that's kind of new, so bopped that real quick. And also, I got an actual temperature gauge versus using the stock cluster gauge as my I guess fail-safe, just to kind of see, make sure all the components are working together. One thing I did notice was the fuses for the fan for an M44, which is a 4-cylinder car. There were 40 amp fuses versus the stock. Versus mine only being 30 amp. I don't think it's going to cause any kind of issues. Maybe they have a higher velocity fan. But we'll just put this in and just kind of see. I know it's just a tail end of fall, about to be winter, so we probably won't have any kind of overheating issues now. But we're going to visit either checking to see if the fan can handle a 40 amp fuse, and if not, I'm just going to delete that auxiliary fan and just use something like a Volvo 2-speed fan out of the junkyard or some other 2-speed fan, but still use the stock the stock setup system where it's got the the 2-speed switch and everything like that. Everything's already wired in the car, so I'm not really going to mess with anything. I'm just going to rewire in a new fan either on the back end or on the front end as a pusher. But we'll just get into it. Okay guys, take off time lapse there for a second. Ran into a big snag, so let me just kind of show you what happened here. So this thing was seized to the water pump. I know it's left-hand threads, everything. I tried my best to get it off and just had to, come in with the Sawzall here and just kind of, slice it straight off. But we're good. I just needed the pulley. That was the main thing, or reason why I cut it, because I was replacing all this and not using the clutch fan anyway. So now we're ready to, I guess, start cleaning up and reassembling everything. So let's go do that. All right, so got the new water pump here. It's got the metal impeller. I guess one thing to note is there's this little freeze plug here. And it's got a little opening on the top, and what that is, that's the weep hole. So what happens is, if this front seal fails, you're gonna get coolant into the bearings, and so what you want is this weep hole to start spewing out coolant. That way like, oh wait, I have a coolant leak. Oh, weep holes, the water pump's about to fail, so it's just kind of like a fail safe, like, oh, time to change the water pump. So it's you want to make sure that that's on the bottom side, because you want to make sure that that's going to leak first before it completely fills up. Either way, I don't know if this thing can be installed both ways. Oh, one thing, I want to put a little bit of oil just on this O-ring here, just to kind of help. That way it won't try to fight when it's going in, things like that. So just want to rub it around. Maybe get some on this back side here. Probably can't see on the camera, but we're just gonna oil up that O-ring. That way when it goes in, it's not gonna like try to hang up on something. Hopefully, let's see that. Yeah, there we go. Here you go. Here you go. Got the nuts. The old nuts here. Oh man, this is so much easier to install with the damn fan and clutch all out of the way. It was a nightmare trying to get this thing out. I was like cutting my hands up. I guess also having the radiator off also is safe too. Click, 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 click. Alright, I think that's tight enough, good enough. Torque to spec as always. I'm going to leave this little cap on there because I'm not really going to be running a fan for now. But it'll be good to have that there to kind of protect it in the event that we have overheating issues and we got to put a fan back on. So we'll leave that cap. Alright, next up we got Thermostat, lower temp, which is kind of funny because the old one I took out, this one of the legs was actually broken off, so it wouldn't allow the car to get up to temperature, which is kind of funny. Alright, so got that thing sitting in there. Will it stay while I do it? Let's see. Let's get a bolt. Get a bolt started. Let's get the bottom bolts because I gotta thread that fucking doodad in. What's it called? The lift. Is this thing gonna sit? Maybe once I get it right. Let's do the old. Bang, we're in business. We are in business. Let's see. Let me show you what the next thing we got to do. Alright, so the next thing we got to do, we got this, I don't know what this is, I guess to heat up or to sense the incoming air temperature, to switch on some coolant to heat up the throttle body. I think that's what it is, and we're going to assume that that's what it is. So, we're taking this out. So these two wires, these two hoses, one runs up to the throttle body. We're taking that sumbitch out. That's gone. Done. So that one's done. The next one returns back to this pipe. What we're going to do is we're going to cut that, put a bolt in it, and just hose clamp it on. So this bottom one, I guess this is the infeed coming off the block. There is a, it's hard to see. Let's see if I can get it in there. Shit, I can't see shit. Let's see. Hard to tell. But there's a hose. There you see this hose. This hose is what's going into the block, into the head. So I'm gonna take that out. It's got a threaded fitting back there. I don't know if it's, there we go. There we go. That guy. It's got a threaded fitting into the head. We'll pull it off, and that's what I'm gonna use actually for my temp sensor for my I guess external or aftermarket water temperature gauge. So that's where I'm gonna get the reading for the temp sensor, which is right next to the cluster and the
I guess the computer module, whatever. That's what it's getting the actual temperature. So it should be accurate enough. So let's pull all that shit out.
Alright, so I was able to get this, I guess some kind of, I don't even know what it is. It hooks up to the, I guess to heat up the throttle body. I'm guessing this is some kind of like temperature solenoid switch or something along those lines. I guess it senses incoming air temperature. Assuming, or unless it just heats up the incoming air. I don't see how that works. It comes off the head through this tube, comes up to this. I'm guessing it's a valve, and then it comes out here, and this, connects up to the throttle body, and then out the throttle body has a return. So what I did was I just cut that off, jabbed the bolt through it, used the hose clamp, cinched it up tight for the return. But coming out of the head, this is the piece that it was, and it's a M12 by 1.5 thread. And so what I did was I got the same fitting, same thread pitch fitting for my my temperature switch. And so my actual temperature gauge is gonna sit in that same threaded port in the head, so I'll get my accurate temperature reading. I haven't put it in yet. Here's what's left of my water pump. I had to kind of cut the nut off there, destroyed the impeller to kind of brace it up in my vise to kind of get it off, and it just wouldn't budge. So yeah, that's not gonna go back on, so I can just kind of junk this stuff away. Also, when I was pulling everything, the actual thermostat switch is broken, so the car could never really hold itself to get up the temperature, and it's the 88 degree thermostat too. So the one I put in was at 80 degree, I think. Let's see, I wrote it down. Yeah, 80. Yeah, I put this is a 195, and I put a 175 in, so we're good there. I replaced the plastic with the aluminum, and here is the old temperature switch that sits on the radiator, and I cleaned it off. Let's see. And it is 91, 99 degrees. So this is the old temperature, and the one we got is at 80, 88. So with all that, we should be good. So the reason I haven't shown everything put back together and the car started up is because I'm also doing the power steering hoses at the same time. So I'm trying to split this up into 2 separate videos, kind of make it short and sweet. So yeah, that's why the water pump pulley is just sitting on the bench here. So everything should be ready to go back together hopefully soon. Just get the power steering lines, record that video, and I think after that I'm gonna I'll do like a separate video kind of showing the car running with no clutch fan. See how quiet it is underneath the engine bay. You probably hear every valve rattle while it's running. I just kept with the stock radiator too. Mine, it's just dirty, so I'm just gonna clean it off. Also, everything, it's kind of too close to Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day to kind of put a Japanese brand Mishimoto radiator in a German car. I think it's too soon, but we'll see. Radiator didn't leak, so I'm going to run it until it busts, and then I'm probably just going to buy an O'Reilly Special and run that one until it busts. But yeah, stay tuned. Next video, power steering lines, finally.